There we go.
So
Alright.
welcome to the November 20th School Building Committee meeting of the Pierce School Building Project. We are going to be taking our agenda a little bit out of line. We will vote the minutes after the design updates. Why don't we start with the construction update? And is that you, Josh?
That's
That'll be
Alex.
me and
Alex.
Alex.
There you go.
All right.
Good
Good
screen.
evening. So run through high level schedule, our milestone schedule on our P6. They'll be on the next slide right here. So structural steel, building A, pretty much wrapped up right now. All the erection, steel erection. Now we're going through finishing detailing. By the end of next week, we should be out of building A. So that's with steel. The crew has moved over to building B as of Monday. Continuing steel erection. So we're on track for building A and building B steel erection, which drives towards our weather tight date. We're gonna start just kind of get into the weeds and what's going on here. We're gonna start wrapping the building on Monday of next week. With our scaffolding company, they'll start tarping the building, getting all of our temp heat set up, which will drive all of our interior slab pours and spray fireproofing. So we're driving. All of our milestone dates are on schedule right now, and we're looking very good for all of our upcoming weather tight dates and still driving towards that 10/29/2027 date and looking good. Kind of going through, we'll flip through some photos as I kind of run around site just on updates since last month. Kind of big activity. The Pierce Park, we took that over Monday as well. So we got our site fence established over there, working on our drain line that connects the school project into the Tannery Brook. So looking to wrap that up middle of next week. We also did a prelim camera scope of the culvert to look at that. The culvert looks to be in good condition still, looks really good. So we have data now for that as well. Just to have, good to have as we progress our work over there. So the crew has moved over there. Drain work is going very well. And then we'll roll right into starting to strip the dirt out of there and then look in middle of December to get drill rigs in over there and start our geothermal process. GEI is coming out next week. We'll continue our soil sampling over there. So they'll be working over in the park and our deep soils characterized. So we'll be working over there next week doing that. Other than that, on the perimeter of the site, once we finish the drain line work next week, we'll be jumping back up to Pierce Street to wrap up the sewer and water line. Roughly a 1 week duration up there to wrap that up. So everything's going smooth on Pierce Street. We got basically another 25 feet to run in, but looking really good. One last thing on the outside of the site, mock-up testing. Last Friday, the 14th, we tested the mock-up for our second round of exterior window testing. Everything passed with UTS, so everything went really well with that. So right now the mock-up has passed testing, and everyone's come out and kind of looked at it for the design selections of colors and stuff. So that all is wrapped up right now. And now kind of getting into the project now, like I said, building A on the far building, as you see over there on the screen. We have all the decking on, safety. We'll be starting to put the white tarp around that building. Then you'll see some ductwork going up the side just for our temp heat. So working on that, wrapping up all the detailing, and then building B steel erection started Monday. So we'll be running that through roughly the middle to end of December to get that all fully erected up, and then work on detailing through the first of the year. Other than that, concrete crew, structural slab in place. All of our 6,000 PSI brakes have been coming back great for the structural slab. So we're clear for steel. Also stripping of formwork below building B. The concrete crew now is working on the right side of the screen there's a slab on the second floor, ties into the old amphitheater. So the crew has been working on that, doing their double height scaffolding, putting that all up there. Looking for a placement of that roughly first week of December. We got rebar coming in that. So end of that last week, we should be going after a placement there. So good progress over there. And then as we flip down, We'll also see the green ramp. That's a new loading dock wall. They'll be going after a pour with that next week, which will wrap up. That'll really show that new look of the loading dock and the eventually where all the stairs will be coming down, the view back up to the backside of the historic building. And then below in the garage level, we've been working on underground plumbing, which we'll flip through the photos with that. We've had a couple inspections on that. Everything's looking good. Everything's passing. So we're working on all of our deep plumbing right now. And then we'll work our layers up and get into the electrical, and then just keep working our way up with all the layers down there. So everything's looking good for building A, building B construction of the main building. And then up at the historic building, we had a great meeting today going over kind of our driving plan for all the concrete and getting the site guy up there. We actually mobilized back up there today. We started digging out the addition on the backside of the historic building. So we're gonna be digging back there, obviously through the winter, doing the addition, which will drive getting that AHU number 5 in there, and then working the perimeter, waterproofing and new 4-inch foundation wall around the historic building. Also inside, they're doing all the digging for all the interior plumbing. So that's going good as well. So we have some work going on up there. Then it's just gonna ramp up as we get into December. Heavy up at the historic building. So right now we're looking really good schedule wise. Project's going good. Now we'll just flip through some photos.
Yeah, and the green ramp is right here, as Josh mentioned. It's going to be connecting School Street, for those who don't know, all the way to Pierce Street. So when we say green ramp, it's this section right here that'll connect School Street to Pierce at the top.
Yep. So just a progress view from our field office from last month to this month. Good progress. Obviously, building B wasn't even started then. And then we'll go right into a loading dock view. Just a view from the loading dock. Just a lot of activity from that view. Still working, keeping that access open, and seems like it's been working out well. And then just Harvard Street right there, steel up, and then just a lot of underground deliveries going in there, getting all of our deliveries through that garage opening.
This will be the gymnasiums for the school on this side, and then the multi-purpose / auditorium in this lower corner here.
And then a view from the future amphitheater area, looking at the backside of building A. This is that double height slab that we've been working on over at the old existing amphitheater that ties in the new building to the top of the amphitheater right there. So a lot of shoring there, double height shoring, getting ready for the 16-inch structural slab up there. This is the underground in building A. All of our deep sanitary and drainage has been going in. We've got a couple inspections, like I said early on. Everything's been going very well down there. And then just a view from inside the historic building, a little different. That old existing column now has been removed. Now we'll go after installing the new column to remove our temp shoring. Then I'll drive going after the elevator, but in the other adjacent rooms is all the underground plumbing trenches. And the Pierce Park, now we have our site fence erosion control established. We'll be putting our red scrim around the park starting next week. And then on the left is the drainage. We've already tied into the Tannery Brook. We've got our drain structures in. Now we're connecting the dots between the two structures, running the pipe right through the old basketball court, or right on the edge of the old basketball court. And a couple drone photos showing the overall progress of building A.
Oh,
Just another drone photo. This was prior to building B steel. And this is the board form green ramp wall right there on the left photo. And this is the mock-up shade in the mock-up.
Yeah, so we have a couple different ones. So there's this is two different locations, but both along the same face of the mock-up, so they get the same amount of sun, so you can see the difference between the two.
and then just a view of the testing that happened last week. And like I said, that passed up, everything worked well.
And again, this is performance testing. So we tested the water, if any water infiltration was going to get through these windows. We retested the operable window in some of these windows, as well as the curtain wall, but everything has passed, and they test that by spraying water and kind of creating a vacuum around the windows to see if any water can be pulled in. So for those who want to know a little bit more about the performance testing done.
And then just some more photos of the mock-up with the finishes.
I think that's the last slide, Helen. I don't know if you want, if there are any
Okay.
questions.
Yeah, I think does anyone have any questions? You could raise your hand and I'll call on you. I think this is really exciting. Things seem to, that drone view really sort of gives you a sense of how things are progressing. I don't see any questions right now.
I think
it's
Steven
pretty
has his hand
clear.
raised.
Yeah. Helen, hi. I just had a couple of questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. I was
Um,
looking at the list here. Okay.
That's okay. So I know there was going to be a site visit by the committee, but that got postponed or canceled because of the weather. So it seemed like you made a reference to people had been by to look at, aside from the performance testing, you mentioned something about different color samples. Are there any, I didn't get by there. I don't know if there was actually a follow-up visit. Were there any issues about different color options
The
for the
only
paneling or brick?
the only color thing was the clips for the slate. Am I correct, guys? And one was more of a, one blended and one didn't.
I
And
see.
we
That's
chose the blending one.
okay, no issue there. All right, it looks good.
I-
I just also have to say that is one heck of a crane that you've had, that Chelmsford crane by Building A. I'm just
Yeah,
blown away by that piece of equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, we could set up a time if people wanted to come by and look at it. I don't know. It's mostly the exterior. The inside, there's really not much except for the shades.
Hmm.
We will be looking at the shades on Friday, Steve, if you wanted to stop by at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Okay, I'll make a note of that. I mean, I was wondering because there have been cases with major projects where the planning board has made a site visit to look at a mock-up. Often there have been different choices of brick color and mortar color and paneling color, but it looks like this is all pretty set. So,
It's
and it looks
pretty
good.
much,
Yeah.
I think maybe there was a question about mortar color, but maybe not. I don't remember, but either way, why don't you come by and look
Friday at 3.
Friday at 3? And if anybody else would like to, let me know or let Andy know, so that we're prepared. Okay?
Okay, at the mock-up.
Yeah, at the
Okay.
mock-up. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
But yes, there was a meeting between the higher ups at the design team firms as well as the building commission and a few others. So yeah, that meeting was held, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on to the budget. Lynn?
All right, take it away, Lynn.
Muted. Sorry. Quick overview. Our budget remains at 211,915,958. We've committed 196,657,531, and we've expended through October 48,792,992, with a remaining balance to spend of 163,122,966. And just to talk a little bit about the changes that occurred in the budget recently, you'll see, I think later on, where in working with the MSBA, we went back, we had 15 budget revisions over the past year and a half. And in working with MSBA, we went back and revised those budget revisions so that we could save the town $1 million in reimbursement. To explain a little bit about what happened back in after the project funding agreement was approved, there were further contract negotiations with both the OPM and the designer, and there were some savings in their contracts. For example, under the owner's project management, we saved $350,000, and under the architect's reimbursable services, we saved $1,022,430. So both of those together, which is $1,377,430, was moved down into out of those budget lines and moved down into owner's project contingency. Over the course of the past year and a half, we have been approving, or the boards have been approving various amendments for services that were required. And we have been pulling those costs out of owner's contingency and moving them back to the lines that we originally took them away from and put them into owner's contingency. When you do that with MSBA, you lose your reimbursement when you move the money. If you move money out of a budget line and then end up moving it back, you lose the reimbursement on that money. So in working with MSBA, they allowed us to go back and put the monies that we moved after the project funding agreement back into the budget category lines that we originally had them in, left them uncommitted, but in doing that, all of these amendments that have been approved can now be committed against the monies that we moved back. And since it was already in the budget line, it's allowed to be reimbursable by MSBA. So all in all, it saves the town about $1 million in reimbursable costs that they would have otherwise lost. And MSBA has been kind enough to work with us to allow us to do that and go back and recoup those costs. So in doing that, you can see here on this slide that we went from the 2 million that we were at last month in owner's contingency back down to the 1,098,927. Construction contingency remains unchanged, but we moved that money that we moved into it due to contract savings back to the budget lines that they were previously in. We've applied those amendments, that the 15 amendments that have, or 20 amendments that have come in, we've applied them as applicable to those budget lines. And because of that, those costs are now reimbursable. Prior to that, because we had to move them back out of contingency, back to the budget lines they were originally in, MSBA was saying that these costs were ineligible for reimbursement. It's a long story, and the reason I was late, I was trying to put together a spreadsheet to make it a little bit easier to read, and I can do that for you. I know it's a little bit confusing, but I want to say that the bottom line budget remains the same. The contracts remain the same. The money, the extra money that is in some of those budget lines are uncommitted and only committed if there is an approved amendment that's charged against it. That way, every amendment we get, we can get reimbursement from MSBA because we're pulling it out of the uncommitted monies that are already in the budget line. When we make the transfers back and forth like that, that's when we lose the reimbursement. So MSBA has been kind enough to allow us to do this. Consequently, I don't know if you have that budget slide up or not, budget revision slide, Andy, in this package. Well, we originally had 15 amendments. We were able to void 5 of them. We revised 6 of them. And that we're getting ready to send those back out after everybody's been made aware of what's going on, back out for revisions and signatures, and then we'll send them back into MSBA so that it gets allocated and the town gets their reimbursement for the money. I know that's a lot and it's complicated, and I'll try to put together a spreadsheet that kind of shows the various moves, but the bottom line, the budget remained the same, contracts remain the same, and only time a contract changes is if an approved amendment is executed.
Great. Thank you, Lynn.
You know, maybe I'll stop for a second and see if anybody has a question. Okay. I think you did a fairly decent job of explaining that, actually, which is, it's a complicated thing. I actually had a conversation with Lynn just to go over it myself to make sure I understood. So, okay, why don't we, is there anything else in the budget that you want to present?
I just wanted to say, give an update on where we are with the relocation budget. We have expended $794,805 of that budget, and we have reported the same through the MSBA's ProPay system. And we have a forecasted expenditure of $702,373.
Okay,
And that's it.
thank you. Any questions or? No? I don't see any. Any design updates?
No,
Margaret or?
we do not have any
Kelsey?
design updates.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Great. So before we go to new business, do we have a quorum that we could vote?
I count 8 people, Helen, which leaves us 1 short of voting.
Hmm,
But it's just meeting minutes. I mean, we've got 2 meeting minutes.
Yeah.
So, not the end of the world if we can't vote on them today.
right. Have they been posted though?
They haven't, but I'll talk to Betsy tomorrow and have her post them as drafts so
Okay.
that they're available to people that want to see them. Because I don't want to leave them, unposted for too much longer. So
I think that's a good
we
idea.
can do
I
that.
think that's a
Sure.
good idea.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Is there any new business?
And Helen, I don't know if you want to mention about the topping off and signing.
Oh, yes, please do. Please do. Who wants to talk? Alex, that's your baby.
I love it. Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, over the last about week or so, we've sent a topping off beam. And if for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically a structural beam that we paint white, and then we gave it to the old Lincoln School as well as Fisher Hill to allow the kids, faculty, anyone who wanted to sign it at Pierce School to sign the beam, and then it becomes a permanent part of the structure. So that was one thing that we did to allow some of the kids to be able to be remembered as part of the final school. And we are also getting another beam that we will have here on site. And I know we can offer it up to anyone who wants to sign it. It will be located here on site, but we ask that you come see us if you do want to sign it, so that we can let you into where we're going to have that. That one will be signed by us as the consigli team, the workers in the fields, and anyone here who may want to.
And
Alex.
when will that be available?
That'll be the first week of December.
Okay.
And we have a tentative date for topping off. It's not really going to be a ceremony, but we're going to raise the beams.
Yes, the December 16th is our tentative date right now. As after the holiday of Thanksgiving, we should have a better idea of when that final date will be. But yes, as of right now, and then I know Andy has reached out to Big to have it videotaped as well. So folks
be
can
here.
see the video.
And I think Brookline.News will be doing an article also about it.
Yes. Yep, we reached out to them as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lap, for reminding me of that. That was great. Is there any other new business that we need?
Helen, I just wanted to mention that with the closing of Pierce Park, there's been very little in the way of neighbor complaints. We had a couple of people, somebody was concerned about all the rats that would be coming to his house. And somebody, we don't really create rats with construction, but okay. And then the neighbor that's directly adjacent to the basketball court, we were removing part of the basketball court, and there's some vibration that happens there, but fortunately, so she and I spoke, it's fine. And we're going to be moving away from that direction before too long. So it'll be, so but that was it. I mean, considering, we altered a bunch of students, paths to school and everybody else, dog walkers and other things, it's been very quiet, which is good. I think the team in general put out a lot of information about what was coming up, and people seem to know about it. So it's good.
That's great. That's fantastic. And thank you. And let's hope it just continues that way. Okay. Any other new business? Anything else that I haven't hit on? Okay. Our next meeting, I'm wondering if we need a December meeting. I'm trying to be cognizant of people's time, the holidays, etc. Is there anything that besides the minutes, is there anything else that would be in updates, which we can send out from the building commission meeting, right?
That's what I was going to say. We can do what we've done in the past, where we can put together the normal slides and reports that we would do and send them out to this group around the right time. So we can certainly do that.
Okay. All right. And that's posted on the building commission website too. So if anybody wanted to see it, they could.
Yes.
I would like to suggest, and I don't know if anybody has any objection, that we have our next meeting in January then.
I would agree, Helen.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
makes sense.
Great.
Great. Thank you, Janet, and thank you, Brooke. Okay, so that's what we'll do. I don't know the date. Do you have a date there that you can see?
I'm just looking up. The 15th of January is a Thursday,
One,
or the
two.
22nd.
That's just before, I mean, it's okay
When's
with
Martin
me.
Luther King Day?
Yeah,
The 19th is
19th.
Martin Luther King. That's also.
yes, that weekend, the weekend right after. Should we go for the 22nd, do you think? Or the 15th? I'm neutral on both. Janet? Or Brooke?
I don't think it matters to me.
Yeah, I
build-
think either is fine. If you want to be cognizant of MLK Day, I guess the Thursday after is probably better than the Thursday before.
Yeah,
for
probably.
travel.
Okay,
22nd.
let's do that then.
122. All right.
All right, is there any public comment? I'm not seeing any. Oh, that's better. That helps me to see people at least. I don't see any. Does anybody, if you have something, you could just say something. All right, have a happy Thanksgiving and a happy holiday, winter holiday, and we'll see everybody, and Happy New Year, I guess now.
Yeah.
You too. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you.